Hey guys, it's November 22nd, November 2nd, 10:36 a.m. And I just uploaded a video about this, but there was no sound, so I'm having to redo it. But this is a real live trade that I recorded while I was trading, and I, commentated over it while I was trading, but then after the fact, there was no sound, so I'm having to kind of redo it, but I'm going to try to do it without embellishing or adding anything that I didn't say the first time. But basically right now it's 9:26, a few minutes before the market opened. I started recording this video saying that I was looking to take a trade as soon as the market opened for maybe like a quick pop, and then get in and out really quick before it flushed back down, because that seems to be what's happening lately, is that the best you can get is like a quick pop and then it's going to flush down. So the only way you can do that kind of stuff is with hotkeys, at least as far as like getting out really quick. But I'm basically watching the last few minutes candles forming, and here's where I'm getting ready to put in my order, stop limit order, so that won't trigger until the market opens, right? Because anytime you use a stop limit, that's like a market order and a limit order together. And none of that stuff, no matter how you have it set up, is going to execute until the market opens. So you can put those in ahead of time, and then once the market opens, if it hits your price, which is the stop price, then the order can be triggered. And I haven't quite set it yet. I'm setting it to the high of this candle. But so that was the plan, right? But when this thing opened up, I didn't really like what was going on, so I didn't end up using this. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. That's kind of the normal way that I enter into these trades. But you'll see what happened. When this thing opened up, this happens a lot where, it makes this big candle. But basically because it gapped down on the open, it was nowhere near the high of this one. I didn't want to use this stop limit order, because then I would have caught the break of this candle, and I didn't think there was going to be much of a move afterwards. So that's why I didn't use it. But notice what did happen is this thing starts to inch up like 1 cent at a time after it bounces down there. So you see how it went like 413, 414, 415. So that's what kind of triggered the buy for me. And this is where I hit my hotkeys, which basically does the same thing as hitting this button right here. It buys $15 worth of whatever I'm looking at, which in this case would give me 3 shares at the ask plus 2 cents. So let's see where the ask was when I hit the, okay, so there I hit the buy order. Did you notice that it was like at 414, just a split second earlier, right? So this thing's still like, while this thing was still submitting, it was at 414. Just watch the bid and try to keep an eye on when I trigger my buy order. Watch the bid, watch the bid. There, I triggered it, and you see how I went from 414 to 418 really, really quickly. So this is where this offset thing comes into play. I have my offset ask plus 2 cents, right? So the ask was like 414 when I hit it, and so it should have filled me around like 416 if the bid was still below that price, but it wasn't, right? So I didn't get filled, which is okay, because you'll see what happens here. So then it jumps up really fast, and actually I guess where it really filled me was like 419. Or didn't fill, but I mean put the order in around 419, because if the limit is at 421, that's including that plus 2 cents. So the thing, it just continued to pop, and it didn't fill me. So that means I missed the move, I missed the entry. The worst thing you could do at that point is to try to enter again, because now you're chasing, and it's likely that the thing left you behind, and it's going to flush down really quickly. So I did the smart thing, and I closed out my order. And then you'll see what happens. It would have filled me if I didn't close it out. You see how it came right back down? It would have filled me, and I would have been in a losing trade right away. And it never really recovers. Just flushes down. I would have been filled around like 421, 420. I would have been down 20 cents a share already. Times 3, that's 60 cents. that's a big loss for a small trade like that. And this thing just kind of continues to do that. Then it teases me, like, oh, maybe it'll break the high, but no, these candles are too big, so I don't take a trade until a little bit later. So when these candles start forming, I start thinking, oh, maybe this thing's going to kind of curl up. So I start looking out for the break of the 1 minute candles. I think I'm actually, because again, this was like a live trade, so I'm actually at this point, I'm kind of talking to you guys about how that attempted trade went. And I'm also noticing these candles form. So this is where I'm looking, okay, maybe I want to get in when this thing breaks. And you see I went over here with my mouse, like I'll put in a stop limit order. I missed that, and the thing broke out. And I hit my hotkeys to buy right there. You see all these pop up, that means I hit my hotkeys to buy. I got very lucky because I really shouldn't have done it there, because remember I just said, if you miss your entry, don't chase it, right? The only difference was this thing didn't pop way up. So I hit my buy order, and luckily I got filled when this thing popped down. So I got filled at like 407, right? You see there. And then it's interesting how I just heard the sound there, even though, okay, anyway, never mind. So yeah, I got filled there at 407, and then the thing popped up, and I kind of realized immediately what had happened, that I kind of chased this thing, and that I was really lucky to get the entry that I did, and I'm already in a profit, so let me just get out as quick as I got in. And there, I hit the exit, and I take my profit, and look what happens. It's a good thing I did, because really quickly this thing comes right back down. So my entry was at 407, and look, now I would have been in a losing trade if I would have hung on to it. It does bounce back up 1 cent higher, but so here's what I'm just fast forwarding, and there, I'm just showing you that there's my trade. Luckily, I was so lucky on that one. But basically what saved me was my quick reaction and realization that, hey, you know what? I kind of got in on a trade that I shouldn't have, and let me get out while I'm in the green on it. If I would have hesitated, I would have that would have been a red trade. So yeah, basically I got filled at 407 for the buy, and then I sold at 412.5. So essentially a 5.5 cent gain per share. And then this thing ends up kind of pops up again, and then look, it flushes right back down. So now that this candle's formed, it's very easy to see what's happening. That this is just a pullback on the way down. And the way I trade right now is I only take one trade per session maximum. I don't have to take it, but I can take a trade during the pre-market. I can take one trade during the day, so between the 9:30 to 4 p.m. I can take one trade in the aftermarket, and that's it. No more, but I can take less, meaning I don't have to take those trades. And they're not transferable, so if I don't take a trade in the pre-market, it doesn't mean I can take two trades during the day. And the reason why I do that is because I found the biggest difficulty that I have, and I see it with most traders, even traders that have been trading 10 years, like Ross Cameron or someone like that, is once you've done one trade, the chances of you doing a trade following that trade based on emotion, whether it was a winner or a loser, your next trade can have a lot of emotion injected into it, and that can cause you to make much poorer decisions, and either wipe out your gains or add to your losses if your first trade was a red trade. That especially happens. So that's my spiel about why I'm only taking one trade per day. And it would have saved me here if I would have felt like, oh, you know what, I missed my good entry. Let me get in on another trade. This thing's just flushing down, and it ends up selling off. I even talked about, it's hard to prove now because there was no sound recording, but I remember when this thing was, when these candles were forming, and I said that, that this is a pullback on the way down, that if I was FOMO trading, if I was allowing myself to take more trades than one per session, I might have taken the break of one of these 1 minute candles. And I said this in the video. You might think I'm lying now because there was no sound to prove it. But I said that whether, and I don't remember if this one ended up breaking, but one of them ends up breaking. And I said, I'm sure there's going to be some other FOMO traders that buy into those and they get caught into another downturn. And if you go and check Anpc now, that's what happened. So here's where the video is right now. And then, well, it looks like the high never broke in this candle, but it did here, right? So that could have happened here where you're saying, okay, I'm going to buy the first time a 1 minute candle breaks a new high. It does there, but it never really goes anywhere, just 2 cents, and then it flushes down. And then it does another kind of fake breakout and flushes down. And then another fake breakout and flushes down. So, you know, what I said ended up being right. I could have been wrong, and I said that as well in the other video. But yeah, anyway, that's why I only take one trade per session, so I don't get stuck in these fake breakouts. So that's it for that video.